And we are live. Hello, everyone. I'm Christine Blanchet, the TV host and producer of The Closing Act, Music and Entertainment. And I'm thrilled to have with me today two special guests who are the showrunners of the pop culture web series The Drop, airing on YouTube. And they're also actors. So I don't know how they do it, but they're here and they're going to talk about their work and how you can watch the program. So welcome and introduce yourselves. And I already said you're actors, producers, but introduce yourselves.
Oh man. Okay. Well, I'll go first. I'm Danny Pagliarello. I'm an award-winning director and actor and co-creator of The Drop with Aisha. And I live in Toronto. The second T is silent for everyone out there on the West Coast. And yeah, I'm just really excited to be here today.
Well, welcome, and congratulations to you for the web series. And it's actually, you're being featured at festivals worldwide, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's been exciting. Also, hi. Oops, sorry. Should I say hi?
Yes, go on.
Hi, my name is Aisha Evelyna, and I am a writer, director, actor, and the co-creator to Danny and we worked on The Drop. And I too am based in Toronto. The T is silent, and I love raccoons.
Raccoons. Why?
I don't. I really don't. I think the most Toronto thing that I could say is like, other than talk about Drake, is raccoons. So
I agree. I think we really wanted to have a raccoon like in the show, but we just couldn't like afford the animal handler. They're surprisingly expensive. But it is like raccoons are just all over the city of Toronto. They're
yes.
our little friends.
Yeah. Well, you are both multi-talented. And, again, congratulations on the web series. It's, featuring at festivals worldwide, as I said. But I want to ask you, is this the first time working together?
It is, I guess, at
yeah.
a professional level, though we've known each other since our university days.
Yeah. We went to theater school together. So we went to York. Actually, Danny, I'm not sure if you remember, like the last time we actually worked together prior to The Drop, we were doing this like movement thing. Do you remember we had to be animals? Do you remember that at all?
I mean, that was all 4 years of university for me, just pretending to be an animal. So like, yeah, I can't remember specifically which time, but I'm sure that probably was the last time we like had an assignment or something. Yes.
Yeah. So like it is the first time professionally, but the last time I remember working with Danny, we were doing like a movement thing in theater school and we were both animals, and I forget, and I just remember you had one of my braids in your hand and like it's like
I'm so sorry.
No, it was a lot of fun. I just have this visceral memory of like, sorry, to kind of to segue back to The Drop, but like when you're like, oh, is this the first time you two have worked together? I'm like, oh wait, like no, we were animals in theater school.
We like brushed by each other.
It's so cool. Yeah. That is so cool. And here you are both working professionally. And so tell our viewers and listeners, The Drop, I like the name, The Drop, but what is the plot?
Take it away.
Okay. So The Drop is about two really cool Toronto girlies, Polly and Zara. Zara is like a newly settling American expat trying to make her life work in Canada because insulin is cheap, and she's a diabetic. But basically, the two besties wait in line for luxury items on the day that they drop for people who are too rich or lazy to do so themselves. So, like, if you want like the newest iPhone, but you don't want to wait in line for it, but you want to be of the first to get it, like you can pay somebody to wait in line for you to get it. And Polly and Zara do that.
Well, yes. And what does line waiter mean for those who may not know?
So it's one of those magical jobs that I think was created because now we live in such a capitalist society where time is like your greatest commodity. And so for a lot of people, they don't have time to wait for things, for their passports to get renewed, to get the latest like dessert trend. And so it's like a real job that you can do. You can sign up on like TaskRabbit and become a line waiter. In our show, at least, it's all offline, and it's like a true like cash only scenario. And that's why like my character is able to do it, even though she doesn't have her papers for Canada. But with that, I think it just brings such a different like level of hustler to our characters, because basically these girls are like working for cash and they don't have to pay taxes. And so they make a lot of money really quickly. Yeah.
You know, I was gonna like, how exciting was for you to work on this show? It seems like a lot of fun, and it's comedy.
I mean, it was really fun. It was so much fun. We got to hire our friends. We got to cast incredible comedians that we always wanted to work with. Our show has Mark Little in it, who's an incredible comedian now in New York. Aurora Brown, who's one of the creators of Baroness von Sketch. We got to work with Nicole Power, who's like the star of Strays and was previously on Kim's Convenience. So it's just a dream. Yeah, all levels.
Yes, you're living the dream.
Yeah, we even had a cute little cameo from Jane Kaczmarek, who was on Malcolm in the Middle. She played Lois. She was the one that was always like, Malcolm! We had like the tiniest little, she played herself, and it was so fun. And yeah, definitely a highlight. It's just like how we got really cool people to come out and like be a part of our vision, which is like, we don't take it lightly. It was a big deal. So yeah.
You know, what was the process like? It's a lot of work being an actor and producer.
Yeah, I mean, it was a very long process that, I mean, with two people who are as hardworking, honestly, as Aisha and myself, even with all of that, it was super, super hard. But I think we learned a lot, because even though it was like the first time that we did something of this scale, it wasn't our first kick at the can as filmmakers. We had directed ourselves in other projects, written a lot. And you know what they say, 2 is better than 1. But we definitely had everything written like a long time before we went to principal photography. And that was just how it had to be. Like, we didn't have writers waiting on the side of the set being like, make this joke funnier, or we're going to change the scene around. It was kind of, you know, at times like on the fly, but also very structured.
Yeah.
Yes.
We had to have like, it's actually, that's the, like, when you say that, Danny, I think about it, because I'm like, oh yeah, because we were the writers. So like the script, like it sounds glamorous, and I'm like, it's not. But we had to like, the scripts had to be like airtight in many ways, and like it is kind of hard because we were also trying to be very current to the times, because like with the internet and pop culture, Gen Z kind of vibes, like things move very quickly, and so it just required like, I think about an amalgamation of processes where like, because you just have like, there's a process to direct something, and then there's a process to play a character in something. And so for the both of us, we would lean on each other, obviously, but there's also an amalgamation of like getting these two kinds of processes to kind of fit into each other while you're working. So that might mean like watching playback, or like while you're in the frame, like having them like figure out where they're going to put the camera, and you have the monitor watching them frame you up, you know, where the bodies are in space, like little things like that are, I don't want to say technical, but they're like the minutia. But it was definitely like a lot of hard work and took a lot of time, but we leaned on each other and we played all the parts basically.
Wow. And is you know, how like generation, like what does your comedy say about Generation Z, and what are they facing?
Doom.
I was gonna say, I think the millennials are worse off. Like, maybe I'll bite my tongue about that. Like, I'm not an economist. Like, nobody take my investment advice. But I would
if
say,
you're listening, buy a house. She'll tell you how to get one.
But listen to Mama. I don't know what to say. Like, I think that I don't even know how to answer this. Aisha, do you have an idea?
I do. I think that, okay, what does this say about Gen Z culture? But I think like millennials and Gen Z are like in a weird space that's kind of like separate from like Gen X and boomers. And so and like when we really think about it, like I do understand like the I don't want to say nihilism, but like kind of anger, because like yeah, the planet like there is a problem. There's the climate emergency. Like there are many things that kind of like weren't the same as like let's say 30 years ago, and so like just to like kind of maneuver through the workaday world, like you're faced with having to navigate more precarity, if that makes sense. And so I think in some ways it kind of just speaks to like the hustle culture of like crazy things that people do in order to make ends meet, like that kind of stuff. Like my mom, like she was a nurse from the time she was 22 and like had a house by the time she was 24. And then like and then once upon a time she came over to my house and I was like 22 and I had like sheets from IKEA and she was like, why don't you go to the Bay and get yourself something nice? And I was just like,
am I getting married? Like
like what? And so I just think like it's a stark difference between the generations in the sense that like we're I think maybe a little bit scrappier, which kind of speaks to Polly and Zara as characters when it comes to like getting the job done, making money. But I also think like a lot more fun, like embracing like Polly and Zara don't get stuck in like the hardship of what it is to like maybe be a person trying to make their way in the world. They're like just fun, cool, like looking for a good time, looking to make a dollar. And I think that's what makes them relatable, where it's like, yeah, this sucks, but like let's just try and have a good time. So yeah.
Wow, that's wonderful. You know, and the thing too is that your message to others that can relate. And before we went live, we talked about, you know, you are paving the way for women comedians. How does that feel?
I mean, you don't know you're doing it, you know, but
yeah,
I'm glad that if it's helping anyone. I mean, we've had lots of calls with other people who want to make web series. And so I know that we've been helpful in that regard. So it means a lot. I mean, I will always take a call with someone who is curious about the process or wants to get into it. And it's like the least I can do, because people did that for me. Like I had so many coffees, generals, I still do that with people who have, I guess, like gone to the heights that I hope to. And I just find that people in this industry are actually quite generous with their time, as long as you are generous with their time. So
yeah. It feels, I would say like that's the thing. It's really nice for you to say that. It's like really sweet. But like this to echo Danny, like you kind of don't know you're doing it when you're doing it. Like when you're looking at a screen, we zoomed so much over the last like let's say 3.5 to 4 years that in the back of my mind I'm like not like I'm a trailblazer setting up at my office this morning. I'm kind of just like, okay, so how do we figure out a way to do this? And like you don't know you're doing it until after, like looking back I see like what a feat it was that we did. But I think it's kind of just like also our like desire to make the show was kind of bred out of like something similar to Polly and Zara, which is kind of just like to use their circumstances to the best of their abilities to like actualize their fullest potential, whatever they want out of their lives.
And do you have a favorite episode? Or is that...
Honestly, I feel like I love all of them. They're all our children, you know? But I don't know, who's my favorite child? I truly love episode 4. I do.
Oh, that's nice. I love episode 2. That's so funny. Yeah, like I'm the kind of mother that will kick my kids out of a boat. They all suck, but go watch episode 2. I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding.
Good thing you go to the
You can edit that out, right? No, I would say like, yeah, I think I appreciate all of them because like it offered like a different flavor of like the one thing that I think speaks to the intelligence of the writing, if I can pat ourselves on our backs, is like every episode, like with every product, there's a different kind of culture and vibe of people around it. And so it's kind of hard to like compare them in a way because like you're not going to get the same, you're getting the same recurring characters, but you're not getting the same like experience, I'd say, each episode, because like for episode 2, which is my personal favorite, it's a tech drop. So like the vibe of people is different than like episode 3, which is like about like health and wellness in a way, and like the lengths people go to like procure things for their health. And so like everything is different. But I'd say personally for me, episode 2 I'm curious as to why episode 4, Daniela, if you don't mind asking.
I think that, well, in episode 2, we have an homage to Kubrick. And then in episode 4, like, we were conscientious about the feel of it being kind of like, sorry, I just like lost my complete train of thought. Being like, whoa, sorry, who is the filmmaker that we were like, episode 4?
Yeah, are you talking about like the Spike Lee kind of like for the Yo Sugar Daddy battle vibe?
Yes.
Oh no, Michael Bay with the
both of them actually. We had like a Michael Bay, and then we also had like a Spike Lee vibe. And
yeah,
I don't know. I guess I just love an ending, and that's probably why I like episode 4.
Well, it's great. And so what is next for the drop?
Well, we have. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what I can say. We're working on it. That's all I'm saying. We're working on it.
We're having meetings with people who are important.
Maybe Michael Bay, maybe
Michael Bay, Spike Lee. Like, we're just talking to all of them. We're having our people call their people. You're not. I would say that we just finished we just finished the first round of voting for the CSAs, the Canadian Screen Awards. And so we would which is really exciting. So on the 22nd of February, they're announcing like the series that would be nominated. And we put ourselves in contention for 6. So hopefully we get at least 1 nomination. So that's exciting because like that's like the equivalent of like an Emmy. Yeah. And then maybe making it a full TV show, like that's kind of always on the table. We're kind of just like, Danny's busy with her show Trauma Bonding, and I'm busy with the feature, but like we are pals and collaborators, so we're down to just kind of continue to have fun with each other. And if that means making more of the drop, we're going to do it.
Well, yes. I mean, you have such energy, great chemistry working together. And so where can people watch?
So we have Narcity Media's YouTube channel, and they have a playlist dedicated to our show. And so if you click the playlist, you will get to watch all the episodes without having to press anything, one after the other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You can binge it.
It's very bingeable.
Mm-hmm. That's wonderful. And is there anything else you'd like to add?
Anything else to add?
Well,
Danny, plug your next show.
Okay, sure. Well, I'm in development for a new comedy show called Trauma Bonding. And I'm really excited to be working on the show. And I received some amazing funding to develop the show. Some of the same funders that we had for the drop, and then some other funders. And we've been making proof of concept scenes. And one of the clips went viral and got over 1 million views. So we're like, okay, the comedy's working. So we're really happy about that. And that's kind of what's next for me, Aisha.
Yeah. Oh, okay. What am I doing? I am shooting my first feature this coming summer, which will be exciting. Right now it's just like a lot of work, but I am excited. I'm also just like a little anxious, but like, that's how it goes. But yeah, I'm really excited to shoot my feature, and I'm just excited for the team and just to kind of keep filmmaking because it's really fun to write, direct, and act. And I feel very lucky to get to do that, especially with my friends like Danny. So,
wow. It was a pleasure having you today on the show, and I'd love for you to come back and talk more.
Sure. We'd love to.
Oh my
yes.
God,
yeah. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So thank you again. And this is The Closing Act with Christine Blanchette. And bye for now.